Hello and welcome to Meanwhile, back on the hobby farm. Here we are, September 11th, after having a cold spell at the beginning of the week where we were in the high 30s. We need some rain desperately. My plants were crying for water. I grow them right outside the front door, and here we are. Looks like I'm going to be watering them every day now for probably about the next 10 days, as we are going to be in the 80s during the daytime. The good news and the bad news is it's going to be a dry 80s, so it's not going to be very humid. So I'm not going to have to worry about my air conditioning units. We've got those big floor models. We took them all down last week. It's going to be hot, but at nighttime it's still going to be in the high 50s, and it's dry, so we're not going to sweat like a cat in a Chinese restaurant. So therefore, we will survive without the AC. But the bad news is the word dry means without the humidity, these plants are going to need to be watered every single day. But as you can see, a lot of them have gone to seed. My horehound has gone to seed. Lemon basil's gone to seed. That's okay. I can still harvest some of the leaves, but what I'm going to do is I am going to harvest the seeds and maybe sell some of them. I'm going to have many different types of seeds, so I'm going to package them up, replant some of them, obvious. These 7-gallon grow bags, I'm going to bring them in with the plants, and I'm going to keep them alive during the winter. I'm going to see if I can keep some of these plants going well into the winter, and the ones that don't or decide to go dormant, that's okay, because as soon as I bring them out in the springtime, even the annuals, they will end up actually start growing again. I'll show you that in a second over here. We got some dill. The dill took off very slow this year. These were really tiny 3-inch plants that were given to me, and they're starting to overtake this bag. I didn't grow them in here, but the dill is going good. So that's the good news. But as you can see, like I said, a lot of it's going to seed, but that's okay. We could still utilize it. No problem. You get lemonade, you make lemons. My toothache plant, I'm going to harvest these flower heads tomorrow, and I'm going to dry them. I'm going to put them in special little bottles or food grade tiny bags with some cloves. I'm going to sell them as toothache remedy. That's why they call it a toothache plant. Look at that weed right there. Not a chickweed, I don't know what it is, but it's a weed. Was a weed. Next to it I got my chives, got some garlic chives and regular chives. Giving it a good, nice soaking because it needs it. I think it's been a week since we've had rain. Well, almost a week, but it's been dry. So all it takes is 2 days of dry weather and you've got fire hazard and plants that are weeping for water. These are my habanero peppers over here. No, jalapeno peppers over here. These I didn't even start. Last year we grew thousands of pepper plants. These 2 plants survived in my basement barely because I forgot to water them. I was busy. But I brought them back out in the spring and tossed all the other plants that were dead. This one had a little sliver of green left foliage on one of the stems, and I've got to harvest some peppers over there tomorrow. And what I like to do is I like to give them all a nice good soaking, and then I go back because like any heavy rainfall you get, the water tends to run off. In this case, it's not running off very far. It's got the walls of the bag, but it still wanted to soak down over here. This is native of Brazil, this plant here. That bag's empty. Over here we got the chamomile. That basically, I can harvest a little bit of it, but kind of too late, but that's okay. This I will just leave out, obviously. I'm not bringing in this big tub. All these flat plants over here will be coming in I'm not coming in, staying out for the winter time. I will put some straw on them probably after Thanksgiving time and cover them up and then take them back out. That's what I did with those horehound plants. Some of them were left outside, covered them with hay, straw, I'm sorry. This has got a little bit of everything in it. I'm going to clean this one out this fall. Got some yarrow over here. Some of it went to seed, some of it didn't. I will harvest some of this. I will obviously again leave this one out for the winter. I will cover it up with a layer of straw. All these plants, they're herbs, medicinal herbs, and you can see they're very shallow. They're shallow-based herb plants, so they don't need a deep root. And I'm stalling because I got Orphancock, our rooster over there, likes to spend his day out here with 4 other hens that fly over the fence every day. And they hang out here. They think they're going to get better food because they know it's the cat feeding time. Well, the other hens are already locked up. As soon as I lock the hens up in the chicken coop, it's called the chick and the inn, I-N-N, they all go in there except Orphancock does not want to fly over because he knows it's feeding time for the cats and he likes cat food. But I'm starting to learn his tricks, and as soon as it gets dark out, he's going to take cover probably underneath the front steps, and at that point I will just pick him up and bring him into the coop. Got some lemon balm over here. Boy, is this dry, and some of this is starting to go to seed, but I can still harvest some of this tomorrow. I've just been very busy to do a lot of harvesting this year. I'm going to water these I have 6 of these flat plots that I like to call them. This is my apple mint. This was it winterized. I cut it down. As you can see, a lot of it's going to seed. It's okay. I have tons of these herbs from last year, and I'm not selling them at a show this year, so I really don't need an abundance amount. But I've been drinking water the last 2 days. I did take some leaves and put it in my water with some of the lemon balm, and been drinking that for 2 days, and adds a little bit of flavor. And these plants, I can hear them saying, "Thank you for watering me." Over here we got some sage. That has not gone to seed, but that's going to be harvested tomorrow and the day after, this weekend. I've already got some echinacea that I harvested 3 weeks ago. I got that hung up. I didn't end up keeping it all. Again, I've got a ton left over from last year, but I do have some that's drying for this winter. Yes, Sage, I know you are thirsty. I went to water it 2 nights ago, and all of a sudden, Mama Joanne turns the water on to do some dishes and says, we have no water. Now, first thing, paranoia, oh, the well's gone. No, I figured it was something minor. I checked the fuses. They looked like they were okay. But sometimes you can't tell. The old round 15 amp S-Series fuses. So I ran to Home Depot, grabbed 2 more. Oh, my God. What was it, $14 for 2 little fuses? I put them in. Still didn't appear to work. I took the cover off of the what do you call it? Not the power switch. I call it the power switch, but it's a switch module. Can't really tell. I didn't see any burn marks on it. I put it back on there as the power was off, and then I just took a screwdriver and banged it on the side of it like a starter on an old vehicle. If it would click, click, you would just take a hammer and tap it lightly. Well, I did that, and I don't know if it was that or it was one of the fuses. I don't know. I put the main back on, and everything's been working since. So that delayed me from watering, and I got real busy with my work. Give this some more water here. And I'm gonna come out here probably tomorrow morning again, water it, and then again tomorrow night, because a lot of this, it's really not going to evaporate now that it's going to be a cooler night. is still going to get sucked in because these plants almost called the Association of Cruelty of Plant Association to my county extension to report neglect. Had some mother's wort and some yarrow over there behind me. And I completely neglected my peppermint this year because I have tons of that. I've got many mason jars of it. Made some elderberry syrup the other day. I've got to find some ice cube trays and I'm going to freeze them this year. Got to be careful with elderberries because if you do not boil them out for at least half an hour, you are getting arsenic and you can die. And I don't like canning it. You really can't. You can can it, but it's got to be tricky. You got to be careful. Freezing's the best way to go. It'll last you about a year. These are good soaking over here. And some mugwort over there, some motherwort over here. And like I said, I'm going to give this a good... I got to find out... Oh, it's over there. I moved the catnip plant that was in a hanging basket. How you doing there, Apple Mint? Now, these plants are 2 years old. This is the second season. And we're just going to let the seeds go down. I might package some of them, sell some of them. I don't know if I'm going to bother starting them as little seedlings and selling, because if you don't sell them, you end up having extra, and I don't like throwing them away, so I may just sell the seeds. The white yarrow's doing really good. Sage, I'm sorry. Hey, Orphancock, you better make lockup because I'm not feeding those cats until you get your butt underneath those stairs and you go to lockup. I'm going to give this yarrow some more thirst. My tomato plants, they've been neglected. I've been eating them all year. I've been giving some away and eating some of them, as you can see. Now, herb plants are pretty forgiving when it comes to watering, except a few. That toothache plant needs water every day. It's a tropical plant, and it needs it. These other plants, I mean, as you can see, this has gone really well. What do I have over here? An eggshell. Looks like a chicken. Must have laid an egg in there. But these tomato plants, you gotta water every day. I'm gonna stick my hand in there, and it's bone dry. I'm going to harvest these tomatoes. I'm going to freeze some of them. I don't have time to can them. They're romaine tomatoes, mini romaine tomatoes. See, that plant's drying up right there. I caught it in time. Now these will survive another month out here. I don't know. We came pretty close to getting a frost the other night. 37 degrees out. I had my winter hat and I had a coat on. It was a little bit nippy out here. Over here, my morning glories, and right there is one little plant that was given to me that's in a 7-gallon bag. And I just got my first trombone squash out of there yesterday. It looked like a trombone they call it. I'm pronouncing it wrong. This thing was huge. It had a curvature on it. You could have hollowed it out and played it in a marching band and probably won a competition or two. There's one growing right there. And until they get hard shell, you can eat the whole thing, soft shell, like a cucumber. But once they get big, like the one I gave out to a friend of mine yesterday, you can't. I got a bug on my back. I don't know if it's a fly or what it is. I got a house plant right there. I have no idea what it is. I just stuck it out there. And like I said, I am going to give these plants another good soaking first thing in the morning. and then do it every evening. See, this one's starting to dry up a little bit. This definitely needed some. Look at this plant. That is the squash plant. It's growing all the way up into here. Now over here is my spearmint. Spearmint, they usually hold up pretty good to drought, but this one here is definitely crying out for some water. There's a fern plant that I had thrown in there. They don't need direct sun, so that's why I purposely put them in there and let the squash plants overtake them. Well, that spearmint was really dry. Over here is my marshmallow plant. Look at that. It's supposed to be marshmallow root. I am not going to pull the root up. I am going to winterize this and keep it going all winter into the basement, which I am going to have to water every day because it's going to. I have my Grandma Fisher wood stove down there, so it'll dry out. But I want to keep that and see if I can get a nice thick base of a trunk, make a tree out of it. I will harvest the roots someday. But these things are bone dry. This one's got one in here, right here. Not much foliage, one little plant. Good thing about these bags is, as I described before, is unlike a 5-gallon bucket, the roots will spiral and keep on growing and go around and around and around the inside of the container on a 5-gallon bucket, and that's where all the energy goes towards the plant. But in these bags, once these plants, spider web roots hit the side of the bag, they self-cauterize and they stop growing, which is good, which means the main taproot of any plant that's in the bag is going to get most of the water and the nutrients, and then therefore your plant will be larger and healthier. Where is this bag? This bag's right here. I do have a pear. One of those is a pear tomato, which is small. That last tomato plant is really dying for some water. I think we got half an inch of rain last week, but it was very quick, and a lot of it just evaporated right off. Here's my last tomato plant. I got to water here. Normally I go back and I will water them twice at the same time, but I am getting, it's not mosquitoes. I don't have mosquitoes don't like me. They used to like me as a kid. Talking about that the other day. I used to be highly allergic to poison ivy and mosquitoes. I removed a lot of poison ivy. Was it last Thursday? No, I went there Friday, of my stepson's house. I mean, it was growing. It was 25 feet long, growing up on the side of a garage, and the whole roof was completely covered, all foliage with poison ivy. And no gloves, nothing. Pulled it all off, and no problem, which is kind of ironic because I'm going to turn around here and use this post behind me to scratch my back. There's our farm truck over there. But no, I didn't know nothing at all. And when you do get a little bit of poison ivy, poison oak, you just put Dawn soap on it, rub it on there, leave it on there for a few minutes, rinse it off, and you are good to go. Same thing with mosquitoes. I used to have mosquito bites, galore as a kid. I must have bad blood. They must not like me. My blood must have changed over years because they don't like me at all. See this marshmallow? I want this thing to be twice that size when I bring it out next spring. And we're just going to give these another quick little dousing up here. And over here is a flower plant. Dusty Miller, is that what they call it? Look at these plants. Do I have any more? I don't see any more. Oh yeah, there's a squash right there. You can see that. I'm going to turn the, it's not going to let me. It's going to say turn the light on here, but I don't have that option when the phone. I'm using my phone, but there is a zucchini right there. And here's some flowers. You know, if they were in direct sun, they would have been dead a long time ago. They're hiding underneath these plants. They don't like the direct sun. Why I have them? You don't eat them. Yeah, they don't really look that great, but it's a living creature, I guess. It's in me. Now we're going to water this zucchini plant, which is really unique because look at the size of this thing. And the thing is, it's only in a small container bag right there, where it is. Oh, I got some more flower heads. I may end up another zucchini growing there. Oh, there's another one there. Oh yeah, I've still got zucchini. I've picked about a dozen of them out so far, given them away to my stepdaughter. Made a couple of recipes out of them. Look at that, just soak this out. It's hard to tell where the bag is here. It's dark out. And you know what's weird? That's not a bag. That is a plastic container. It's not a 5-gallon bucket. So I'm surprised it grew as well as it did, considering it's not self-cauterizing its roots, because it's growing on the inside of that. But give that a good soak. And this thing loves water. Look at the size of those leaves. They are just huge. Look at that, huh? One plant. I might take that in this one. Now this thing, as you know, it's in a grow bag underneath here somewhere. Where is the grow bag? Is that it right there? No, that's not it. Right? No. It's I can't even find the grow bag that it's in. I think it's right here. Aloe plant. Look at that plant. Look at that, huh? Is that awesome or what? I've got a lot of babies growing in the back on that. Anyway, I don't know. It's right here, believe it or not. All that squash right there comes from right here. From this one root where my hand is growing all that. What happens is it self-roots into the ground. So once it hits the ground, it gets more roots and it grows in the ground, which means I got to water that whole thing. The morning glory's really taken off. So, but all that plant is from that little thin, scraggly one that's right there where my hose is. Kind of ironic. Look at those. How you get to burn yourself, get some of the gel out of there. And I think there's another plant back there that I have no idea what is in it. I'm going to step on this without killing this plant. I see some flower heads, and I have no idea what that one is. I don't know. Interesting. So I'm going to give this a good watering over here. I used to run the hose out here. I don't do it anymore because we have hard water. We're out in the country, well water. And what ends up happening is it stains the side of the house. Well, look at that. You don't really have to, the flowers don't need the watering. But yeah, all that, one little plant that's about the size of a drinking straw produced all of these. And tomorrow it'll be lighter out. I'm going to get right in there. Hey, you, get in there. Get in there. The rooster's still playing around, messing around with me. Now I'm going to shut this off, but I got to go back. I got grapevines growing in the front by our roadside stand. You, get locked up. I do have a catnip plant right here. And again, I didn't harvest any of that this year because I've got tons of it. I had this hanging from a tree because I didn't want the cats attacking it. And we're not gonna bother with the front ones tonight. It's just the grapevines and the what's that tree I got over there? The tart cherry tree. We do have our flag at half-mast for 9/11 and for yesterday's senseless murder. And over there on the table, I've got some more poultry and pen for lice for the chickens. And we have a cat that we have 4 cats. We've had them all fixed, whatever. We've had this cat, Moocha, that's been hanging around for 3 or 4 years on a part-time basis. Well, he decided to move in permanently. He's here every single morning and every night. And he's got a real gooey, bloody, crappy looking ear infection, but he's a feral cat, and there's no way I could pick up the cat. I can go within about 3 feet of the cat while he's eating, and when he puts his head down to eat, I've got that antibiotic antifungal spray, and I'm going to put it on stream, and I'm going to just aim it right towards his ear, and I'm going to get him good, and that'll keep him away from me for a couple of days, I'm sure. Just giving this some extra water over here. Okay, I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to go try to find my rooster, lock him up for night, feed the chickens, the cats, and call it a night. Take care, folks.